Imagine this for a moment. While millions of Americans went to sleep every night believing their elected representatives controlled the nation's most powerful secrets, there was a project so hidden, so compartmentalized, that even members of Congress had no idea it existed. No votes, no debates, no oversight. Not because it was illegal, but because the system was never designed to stop it. This wasn't a conspiracy theory whispered on the edges of history. It was real. It was funded by taxpayers. And it reshaped the modern world before anyone realized what had happened. The United States prides itself on transparency, on checks and balances. Power is supposed to flow through institutions. Congress authorizes, the executive executes, the people decide. That's the theory. But during moments of fear, real fear, systems bend. In the late 1930s and early 1940s, the world was unraveling. Europe was burning. Dictators rose faster than democracies could respond. Intelligence reports carried a terrifying possibility. Nazi Germany might be building a weapon unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Not a bigger bomb. Not a faster plane. Something entirely new. The US government faced a problem no constitution had prepared it for. How do you stop an enemy from building a weapon that could end civilization, without revealing you're doing the same? Normal processes were too slow. Public debate was too dangerous. Oversight meant exposure. So the solution wasn't to break the system. It was to bypass it quietly. Money began moving through layers of military budgets under harmless names. Facilities were built in deserts and remote towns that didn't exist on maps. Scientists were recruited, sworn to silence, and isolated from their own families. Even generals were given fragments, never the full picture. And Congress? Most of them were never told. This was supposed to work. Secrecy meant safety. Speed meant survival. But secrecy has a cost. Entire cities sprang up overnight. Los Alamos, Oak Ridge, Hanford, populated by people who had no idea what they were truly building. Workers handled materials they weren't allowed to name. Engineers solved problems without understanding the final purpose. Everyone knew something massive was happening. No one knew what. And the deeper the project went, the harder it became to stop. Scientists began to realize the scale of what they were creating. A weapon powered not by chemicals, but by the fundamental forces of the universe itself. Some tried to raise ethical concerns. Others convinced themselves the responsibility wasn't theirs. Decisions were made in rooms so small that history would never record who hesitated and who didn't. By the time a handful of congressional leaders were finally informed, the project was already too big to question. Billions of dollars spent. Years of work completed. Thousands of lives devoted to it. The system hadn't failed loudly. It failed silently, by working exactly as designed. And then, in August 1945, the secret was revealed to the world in a blinding flash. 2 cities erased. Hundreds of thousands dead. A war ended, and a new era began. Only afterward did many in Congress learn the full truth, that the most powerful weapon in human history had been built without their knowledge, their consent, or their vote. Some were furious. Others were relieved. Most understood something unsettling. If it happened once, it could happen again. The consequences didn't end with the war. The precedent was set. Black budgets expanded. Special access programs multiplied. Layers of secrecy became permanent features of government, not emergency measures. Even today, trillions of dollars flow through classified channels. Projects exist that only a few dozen people on Earth fully understand. Oversight committees receive summaries, not details. The public is told what it needs to know, and nothing more. The lesson isn't that secrecy is evil, or that power should never act quickly. The lesson is more uncomfortable. Systems don't collapse only when bad people take control. They fail when good people decide not to ask questions, because asking feels dangerous, unpatriotic, or inconvenient. That black project succeeded. It did exactly what it was meant to do. And that's what should worry us. Because the greatest power in history wasn't built by a dictator in secret. It was built by a democracy that chose not to look too closely. And once a system learns it can operate in the dark, it rarely returns to the light.